and they see opportunity to take advantage of us.
The people that win the election in Nigeria, definitely 70% of them are not people we voted for.
Me personally, I don't believe in voting in Nigeria because the person who wins the election is not the person who votes for.
The vote counts in the governors and presidential elections. That's why I will advise everybody to come out and vote. It's a civil right. To lead the election.
It feels like your vote in Nigeria does not count, even though we'll keep voting, even though we feel it does not count. Hopefully it will one day.
Either we get bullied to allowing whoever wants to come in to come in. It doesn't just work by voting.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to this special election series of A Place at the Table. Elections, elections, elections. If you're not talking elections, then you're certainly not at the table. You might even end up on the menu. We kick off by tabling for your consideration. Is the system rigged? We have a very solid audience of and online. I know we will do this discussion justice, so settle down as we prepare to kick things off. My name is Yinka Ogunnubi, your moderator for today's hot discussions. Yinka, welcome to A Place at the Table.
Thank you, Yinka.
Thank you, Yinka. Is the system rigged or even designed to fail? I have some thoughts on the matter, but I'll wait to hear what you have to say. Welcome, Hilda.
Thank you, Opeyemi. I'm eagerly waiting to see how this conversation unfolds. But let me say off the boat, the system is rigged. Welcome.
Thank you, Hilda. I don't think it's rigged. Well, I'm part of the system, and I think that's part of why I'm here. Over to you, Peter.
I mean, certainly, I believe some of us here are part of the rigging. Because, I mean, rigging does not happen with ghosts. I mean, it happens so, but I think that is why we are here, to ensure that by 2027, there is no hiding place for riggers.
Okay, you heard them. We're here to touchlight the issues. No hiding place, no holds barred. Welcome to our expert panelists at the table, and on the front bench, I'd like to say welcome to Tope Fasua, Ladi Lawrenson, and I must also acknowledge our special online guest panelists and a regular at the place at the table, Kate Henshaw. You all need no introduction. If you know, you know, and if you don't, then you should know. Omoyele Sowore was meant to be a part of this discussion, but for reasons best known to the authorities, he has been detained. Welcome to our studio audience and to everyone watching online. Welcome to A Place at the Table. All that's left for me is to inform you that this is a live broadcast, which means that you can engage in the conversation from wherever you happen to be watching around the world. Simply share your comments in the section under the live stream on YouTube, X, or Instagram, and we will endeavor to read them out in the time we have. So is the system rigged from the onset or even designed to fail? Yinka, it looks like you're the right man to unpack this matter for us after the break.
There are people, many of them trying to salvage whatever they can salvage.
Right behind me are members of the Nigerian police force to alert the protesters that they've gone past their time.
They came out with reinforcement, basically. All right, at the moment, 2 roll on now.
if I have the means to change something in our electoral system, in fact, it is not just our electoral system, the country as a whole is corruption. If we can stop corruption in all aspects, then we have solved 90% of the problem.
The leaders, they are the one controlling the INEC, you know. So without that, without trying to get them out of the way and put in some new set of people, can never work in Nigeria. For me personally, if I say that it's going to be possible to change the Nigeria situation today, those leaders as well, I'm not praying God should touch that as well, because by we the leader of the system of the content, it's going to be difficult, no matter how the protest we did.
Delete everybody on that shift, every one of them, and put good minds, like minds, people that have sense, because this sense we're talking about these days is no longer common. People with common sense.
They should allow everybody to vote freely, not marginalizing people, just like what happened in the past. And let our votes count.
The electoral chairman, INEC chairman, should not be appointed by the president. In journalism, it says, he who pays the piper, he takes the tone.
1,000 people registered in a particular place, but only 200 are able to go and vote because of the distance. So if they can decentralize and make it easy, a lot of people are registering now. How do they collect the PVC? Is it easy to collect after registration? And all of that. So I think that's what can. And if they can, I know they said they've computerized it, but that needs to be worked on a lot if we want to have a free and fair election in the coming election.
Every 4 years, Nigerians are asked to choose one president, 36 governors, 109 senators, 360 reps, and nearly 1,000 state legislators. Yes, some state elections are off-season, but follow me. On paper, power flows upwards from the people. In practice, it passes through systems the people don't control. The first system is the party. The Constitution says you cannot stand for election without one. Parties then conduct primaries, which the 2022 Electoral Act allowed to be direct, indirect, or by consensus. In 2023, most of the parties chose indirect primaries. In other words, Baba Sope carried legal credence in our system. The 2026 Electoral Act has since abolished indirect primaries, a welcome reform, but we saw how votes were counted in those delegate rooms. Consensus, it still appears, is still keeping Baba Sope alive and kicking. The second system is money. When nomination forms cost tens of millions and political campaigns billions more, the contest is already settled by the highest bidders, long before a single vote is cast. The campaign finance caps appears as mere suggestions. INEC, as of today, has not been able to sanction one single party. The third system is the umpire. The INEC chair, the national and the resident electoral commissioners are all appointed by the president, confirmed by Senate is party likely controls. How independent can a referee be when he holds a seat to one of the parties? Then comes the election day system. Restrictions on movement, polling units that are hard to find, and card readers / result transmission technology that don't work. Add vote buying, and you understand why winners emerged, backed by only a fraction of registered voters. Finally, the justice system. Election disputes are resolved after candidates are sworn in, allowing the incumbent to govern and sometimes influence from the very office in contention. When every system is captured, whether it is party, money, umpire, the ballot, and the court, we must consider the possibility that the system that is designed like this may not be broken. It may actually be working exactly as it was designed. The real question for 2027 is whether we have the courage to redesign it. Yemi, I'll allow you to go first.
Thank you very much for that advocacy and your comments, Yinka. I would like to use this opportunity to introduce Kate Henshaw. She needs no introduction, Nollywood superstar. She's part of this discussion online. You're welcome, Kate.
Hi there. Hi, Binga. How are you?
Well, great to have you, albeit virtual. So I guess we can proceed with our discussion.
Right. Okay. So we talk party, money, umpire, election day, and the courts. The money parts, I would say citizens have little control. Election day, some control. Umpire, some control. Party, if you're in the party, you have some influence. But for me, what's interesting these days is the judiciary. I've heard a conversation with someone talking about INEC, and the person said, this election, it's not INEC you need to worry about, so it's the judiciary you need to worry about. That regardless of what we do or don't do, it will get approved or overturned by the courts. And I find it interesting because for the judiciary, we don't vote them in. So a lot of Nigerians don't really pay attention to who they are. I mean, I can tell you who my senator is, but I can't tell you who... I mean, the most recent judge that gave that nonsense order, Justice Lifu, yeah. That one is probably the one that I can name off the top of my head. But they're not people that we tend to engage. And so I really think that between now and January, citizens need to begin to pay attention to who is in the Federal High Court, who is in the Court of Appeal, and I dare say more importantly, who's in the Supreme Court. They have names. Let's look at their track record. Where did they go to school? You know, they have family members. So, I mean, are they people who like their name to be associated with nonsense? Yeah. And if they do, maybe their wives wouldn't. Maybe their children wouldn't. Because I think until this thing gets a bit more personal, that your choices behind office, whichever office it might be, have real consequences that affect people's personal lives. So I think we dare take some interest in your personal life.
All right. Peter, congratulations on your primaries. You won your primaries.
Yes. Thank you.
You're not a politician. Peter is now a politician.
I mean,
I think it's, you know, I'm beginning to see a lot of activists getting into that space. We saw Aisha also doing the same thing. And I think that that's something that we should encourage. Those who advocate outside should also get into the ring and do something. But I want you to talk about this Baba Sokwe thing. The idea that some people gather in a room and choose who should be the candidate. Maybe we should start by asking you what election Baba Sokwe.
I mean, thank you very much. There are video evidences of our primaries and how the process went through. But it's unfortunate that we are discussing one of the most important issues in a democracy. And 65 years after independence and over 20 years after returning to the Fourth Republic, this is the tale of Nigerian elections. Elections in Nigeria today and our electoral process have become like a Nollywood movie production. Many thanks to our veteran here, Auntie Hilda and Auntie Kate. It is written and produced by the executive and legislative arms of government, directed and implemented by INEC, and then distributed by the judiciary. So everybody will go through the process, spend billions of naira, and then you wait for the judiciary to tell you who is actually your leader. That is the judicialization of our democracy. And then the victims become all of us, the people. So we have continued to, pay with our lives as people are doing, like children in Oyo State are doing now, when government refuses to pay attention to insecurity. But when you talk about Baba Sokwe, it goes to the heart of what we say, how do we get leadership? What is your leadership recruitment process? For example, a place like New Central, I'm not sure the HR department will get a carpenter where they needed an editor. But in Nigeria, we can afford to allow one person to sit somewhere and say, because he wields some influence, and that whatever that happens, that is why even during the APC primaries in Lagos, you saw somebody, one House of Assembly member, oh, this is my Baba. Now they say that I should not go again. And then we say, this thing is a family issue now. Since it's Baba that says so. So what exactly now is the stand of the people? At what point do the people insert themselves in the equation? If you ask President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are you truly representing a majority of Nigerians as president? If you look at the Senate president, did you contest to be a senator? You contested the APC primaries to become a president. How did you end up not just being in the Senate, but the head of that Senate? So these are the issues. And until we are able to separate ourselves and return power absolutely back to the people, you will have a crop and class of politicians who are not beholden to anybody, because the confidence of every corrupt political class is a rigged electoral system.
Auntie Hilda, how do we return power to the people?
In the voice of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, power is not given.
A la carte.
A la carte. You take it. It is time for the people to take back. Democracy is government by the people, for the people, of the people, through the people, around the people, with the people, with the people.
Yes.
So democracy is people, 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 people.
To the end.
To the end. So if we sit back here and we say one politician or one messiah political party is going to save us, that's not true. We're the only ones who can save ourselves. First, let me agree that we're watching out for judiciary.
Yeah.
They are not judiciary. They are juju-ciary. They wear the masquerade of something they call, that thing we go, whatever it's called, that blocks their ears so they can't hear. Their faces have taken away so they can't think. There's so much heat going on in their minds that they're not thinking anything. We need to let the people understand that when you collect your PVC, it is not 5,000 naira. In fact, the hours you spend waiting to collect that PVC should tell you that that PVC is valuable.
Yeah.
1, 2, the number of hours that you will spend waiting to cast your vote should be considered 1% of the number of hours that you decide to wait. Follow that box wherever it's going. And I dare say, since the president already told us that you grab it, you seize it, you run. People of God, Nigerians, please, is an instruction we all have to obey. If anybody dares your box, hit him, pick your box and run.
Okay.
And make sure that you get to where that result is announced. It's an instruction. Don't say you are gentle. We're all gentlemen. Our president is very gentle. So we have to very peaceful and everything. And we have to just follow that peaceful trade and follow them. Then we wait for the judges. Don't be ashamed. I beg everybody. If a judge gives a judgment that is wicked, please confront him, confront his family. Let's go on social media. Let's shout until he will shout himself out. Government is by the people. Let the people do the work of the people. Don't be quiet.
Tope, so I saw how you were quick to quickly interject to say the system is not rigged. And I think that it would be very useful for all of us to hear from you why you think that that's not the case.
Thank you very much. And I think it's good to be here, and thanks for the invite. I said that because if it was rigged, people like Peter would not have won his primaries. And I think, I don't know if Auntie Hilda has also...
I ran.
You also ran some time back.
2023.
Because I was going to say that, well, I think in terms of those of us sitting here, I'm the most senior politically, because I ran for president in 2019. We started our own party, and I didn't step down for anyone until the end. So I'm a candidate, not an aspirant. So, and I wasn't running on the ruling party, so I've also engaged from the opposition angle. Even though when they cancelled all of our parties in year 2020, February, what we got from many people, including online, including among young people, was sniggers, as in, what were you guys thinking before? My friend, forget it. So when I saw there was always something like that in the Justice Lifu, judgment recently, I also was like, oh yeah, now people are seeing how it feels when you could get the short end of the stick when somebody wakes up and say, cancel all those parties. Who are
But let's not miseducate people, Tope, though.
Let me land, please.
Okay.
Let me land.
Okay.
I think I have the floor right
Okay, I'm just saying.
Because exactly what happened to us in 2020 was they
same.
woke up one day and just said, look, all these parties are too many. And, well, let me clarify for Yemi because she's shaking her head.
Yeah.
The law says that you don't take out a party except they can't win 25% in a presidential election or 25% in any state, or they win in the constitution amendment that they did under Buhari.
Yeah.
Or they cannot win a local government, or they cannot win a councillorship. As at the time our parties were taken out, 4 states hadn't had elections. So if we, including those states I'm from, if what we thought was, okay, we would get 25% in one of those states, Ondo, Edo, Anambra, and I still remember them. They didn't give us the chance. Yeah. 35%, almost 30 or more states had not conducted any local government election. So as a small party, you're thinking you want to win one councillorship somewhere. They didn't wait for us. So what they did, in fact, it says, therefore, that only INEC alone cannot take out a party. If you read that law and interpret it properly, the INEC can only do that in conjunction with the state electoral commission, because those are the guys that are going to do the local government elections. Okay, so, but that said, I think let's talk about bigger issues here. I say the system is not totally rigged, but there's a chance that those who, those who are able to get power don't want anybody else to make incursion. But for as long as it is not totally rigged, let activists get involved. I was not an activist when I contested. I was just an ordinary Joe in Nigeria, but I felt I had something to say. And we put a party together and we ran on it. So for as long, and I wrote an article, which actually is one of, I'll probably call it my magnum opus, which I titled about 4 years ago, Before We Destroy Our Democracy, Let Us Study History. Of course, we know how we got here in a presidential election. Some of the things that Peter has said has been very totalitarian in a way, in terms of, look, there's no hope for this democracy. If we went and studied the American democracy, which we adopted, you'll see that it's a very expensive system to run. You see that there's nothing that they've done or they're doing in Nigerian democracy that they haven't done worse in that American system. And even in some places, they're still doing it in what we call the poverty belt of America. Till tomorrow, there are places where on election day, they are handing out cigarettes, pork, and all those kind of things. In the UK, you see that going on in places like Tower Hamlets. Just Google it and see. So maybe we're evolving. I think that social media is helping. I think programs like this are helping. I think activists like Yemi, like Auntie Hilda, like Peter, you may not know it. You think that, you are helping the system. It's part of the governance. And so therefore, I'm saying you can't throw away the baby with the bathwater. Okay. I have a lot more to say about this, and I have that experience, but I think we have to be a bit cautious on that.
Gentlemen and ladies, for your contribution. I have to step in at this time because time is of the essence. It's time for us to bring in members of the audience. Well, I'll let Mr. Ladi Lawanson have the floor first, and we'll take his contribution. Mr. Ladi Lawanson is a former Commissioner of Transport in Lagos State, so he can give us perspectives from the outside and also the inside. Is the system rigged?
Yeah, I don't know if the system is rigged or not, because I haven't been present where such rigging was going on. But I think our democracy is doing well, and I think we're making progress.
Hallelujah.
And if we're to reference those who we even look towards as paragons of good governance and participatory democracy, I'm talking about the US. They're 250 years old today. 150 years into their own experiment, there was still a segment of their demographic that couldn't vote. That's 150 years later. In the beginning, some people were considered 3/5 of a human being. That's Absolutely. How bad it was. Yeah. So 150 years later, they still didn't have the vote. Colored people couldn't vote. Women couldn't vote. We're only 61 years old. The reason why I say we're making progress is because whatever document or whatever structure we have is what we're going to start with. That's why even when you put the best legal minds together and they produce a document called a constitution, they still leave room for amendments because they know things are not going to be perfect. And evidence of the fact that our system is not as hopeless as some would want us to believe is that during the last election, something that was completely unimaginable a few years back happened. A party other than APC won majority vote in Lagos. How could that have been possible under a totally rigged system?
Exactly.
So our system is not rigged. A lot of work needs to be done. I think these sorts of engagements we have and conversations and activism will help to improve the system. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawson. Can we have one more take from this? Thank you. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Comrade Jagede. I want to appreciate the panelists. I can say that to a large extent, the system is rigged. Why is the system rigged? If you look at what we are even facing presently in the nation, which is the artificial poverty, because I always refer to it as an artificial poverty, because we are rich, we are a rich nation, but for the people who are in power, just to hold on with the power, they have to make people poor, so that when it is come to election, they don't have option other than to look unto them for scrub. And apart from that, is the system really being transparent? I will say no. For instance, now we have former INEC chairman, who is now an ambassador to an ordinary Nigeria, to someone who is in his right sense. It's like compensating for the work done. And someone will tell me that the system is not rigged. And at the same time, we have, I'm not even, let me talking about other political parties. The people who are genuinely love the country have access to contest because it has been monetized. People cannot really, unless if you have one way or the other to steal money, or you have connection with the people who are stealing money, before you can easily come out and say you are contesting. And in a society whereby the larger people cannot really come out and stand for election, the system is already rigged. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Comrade, for a reason, and I'm sure you can see that the discussion is already getting, we're all warmed up. We're 30 minutes into our conversation. Now this is where we hear from Kate, who I imagine has a bit to share on the matter on the table, as always. You have the floor, Kate.
The system is rigged. There is no doubt about it. It's rigged. Maybe not totally, but definitely rigged. I agree with everything that Peter said. My sister, Hilda, and of course, Yemi, who has been doing a lot in that space, civic enlightenment and voters' participation. Nigerians yearn for a free and fair election. We must have it, else we'll keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Nigerians deserve to choose their leaders by themselves. But then the system is already rigged if there's Baba Sope, meaning that you have no choice but to vote for the candidate that has been placed in front of you. And then also the judiciary, the almighty judiciary, having to overturn results and bring the person from the last to be the first and all of that. Nigerians deserve good leadership because that will just transform everything about our lives, our businesses, our economy, our welfare. Right now, we know what is going on. Children are still kidnapped, and that is something that is still ongoing. And then we're talking about election. We had a lot of violence the last time. I hope it doesn't repeat itself because I was a victim of such violence in the Tiosa local government. It's clear, the videos are out there. So we need to make sure that the votes of the people count. If not, the government is definitely not for the people.
Thank you very much, Kate. As though we didn't have enough to chew on, I guess we have room to take a few more questions from the members of our audience. We'll just take 2 more before we get on with our conversation. Please introduce yourself and yes.
So, I have a question directed to Sir Tope Fasua. You talked about institutions in America, in Britain, and all of that they do over there. But there are also institutions that can hold powerful people accountable over there in those countries. Can we really say the same for Nigeria? And if we cannot say the same for Nigeria, I think we can say for a fact that the system may be, not just maybe, is rigged.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is. I think at this stage, it's quite unfortunate and shameful that our system has been rigged before now. And the plan to continually rig the system is still there. Because I have experienced and witnessed the election being rigged in my presence. At least I have been actively participating in Nigerian elections since 2019, when my leader then, Comrade Omoyele Sowore, contested for presidency. I have been an observer of election, and I have also participated as a candidate in election. And before me, you see the major parties, ruling parties, rigging election. And it's quite unfortunate. The younger generation that are showing interest in participating and involving in elections are also being muscled out, especially within their political party. APC is a good example. How many young Nigerians or competent, intelligent Nigerians, reliable young Nigerians have the financial capacity to even contest or be an aspirant or candidate under such political party? And if you look at their internal democracy, even during their primaries, you could see how massively the process is being rigged out. And this we can assure each and every one of us and every Nigerian. We will not continually to fold our hands to see the system being rigged out, especially 2027. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I want to talk on how to take the power back to the people. Now, if you listen very well or if you watch the Nigerian system, there is no
candidate that will come up with a manifesto. They don't give manifesto. They will just come and say all sorts of things because they know we are used to it. Now, I'm happy that my brother is contesting picture. Nigerian youth are getting enlightened every day. If you come up with a clear manifesto, I believe the youth will vote for you. But in a situation where we don't have anything to lay on, so let them take it. For example, we have problem of insecurity, light, and other things. But there's a common say. Like even in 1979, there was a campaign in my village. I will build school for you. I will give you water. After the election, we didn't see water, we didn't see school. Then the community decided to organize a borehole, this thing by themselves. MKO, after the MKO, sent people to my village to donate 5,000 naira because we were looking for 25,000. Now, what am I trying to say? Most of our politicians, they don't give us manifesto. So they go with whatever they want to go. But now, if we're able to get manifesto, I assure you, the youth alone will vote and we will give power back to the people because we are the one dictating the tone. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take one more comment before we get back to the table.
My name is Shofola Boluaferon. And if we are talking about the system being rigged, I have seen countless times when this system has actually been rigged right in my presence. Just the past election that just took place, I think in Ogun State, this local government, whatever, that they did. In my presence, I was seeing them, okay, 15,000 people vote buying was going on a low. Then that's not enough. That is not enough. When they now saw that probably I think this is getting scary every day for them, every time. Then they moved to what? Hijacking the ballot system, ballot box, with armed men. They came in, not that I was told. I saw this. Then I had to do what? Run for my life. If I want to act as an activist, then I say, hey, you cannot carry it. I don't want to waste my life. My life is very precious to me. So even though the vote buying is not enough for you, you have to do what? They still have to stretch out their legs to do what? To bring up something more wicked onto the masses. These are people that just want to vote and just have peace. You buy their votes, okay, that is not enough. You are not winning with you buying the votes. Then you go by bringing armed men to do what? To overtake ballot boxes. This is not
okay. Thank you very much for your contribution. We have to get back to the table. Mr. Tope Fasua, by the way, is the special advisor to Mr. President on economic matters. The young lady in front there asked a question about the American system and the British system that you pointed as examples. So what are the guardrails? What guardrails exist to protect the institutions? And there are also questions. I feel the pulse of the people. There's a lot of trust deficit and lack of faith in the system. And my own question is, are those waiting in line waiting to continue in this same system? And who are those who are doing the rigging? Are they not all Nigerians? You have the floor, sir.
Well, thank you very much. I think she asked me a specific question about UK, US. Please, there's so much in the article I pointed to, titled Before We Destroy Our Democracy, We Better Study History. I actually did the research from the beginning of American democracy to date, and there's a reason why we chose American democracy, because as of 1978, when the Constitutional Conference was going on, Obasanjo was going to hand over back to the civilians, at least for 4 years they had it then, before another coup took over. It was just 12 years since Tafawa Balewa was killed in a brutal manner. And dumped somewhere off Ibadan Road here, and then Sadauna to Akintola and, Okotiebo and many more. And then 6 months after that, we had a counter coup, which was equally bloody. A year after that, we went into civil war. We were in civil war for 3 years. So 10 years of Nigeria's history disappeared, right? So in 1978, they said, look, we can't go back to parliamentary. And you know the thing about parliamentary, it's no holds barred, no respect. The Prime Minister is primus inter pares, first among equal, just another MP. See the way Britain has turned over 7 PMs in 10 years. It's instability. You don't need that for especially a developing economy like this. And of course, we're not saying that people should sit tight, but at least even let's be managing the 4+4 that we have. But so, if you read that article, you'll see, I detailed it. The painful thing about American democracy is that a lot of the rigging, including bribery, violence, and all of that, is actually race-directed at the black people, and maybe sometimes the Chinese, maybe sometimes the yellow people from wherever. That has been their history. Thankfully, the former commissioner said a lot, and he put it in perspective. The Constitution says that a black man is only 3/5 of a human being. They brought electoral college. And in their words, when they introduced the electoral college, they said, in order not to have too much democracy, they said, we're bringing this so that we don't have too much democracy. And that's why in 2016, Donald Trump had 3 million less votes than Hillary Clinton. He still won it. Because if you look at America, the East is where the first settlements are. The real population is in that East, so New York, Philadelphia, Virginia, Maine, Massachusetts, and so. And to go west, it thins out. And so they went and carved up the place so that even a small state, that's a farmland mostly, has a huge electoral college vote, and white people are there. So you have to read history.
So bringing it back.
Bring it back. Let me land. So I've just tried to address exactly what you said, but let me tell you this. And to back up what the gentleman had said, we don't have a hopeless situation. In fact, I see hope. Do you know that we had less votes for the presidential election in 2023 than we had in 1999? We had 26.2 million people voting in 2023 as against 26.4 in 1999.
And that does not cover you.
Excuse me, let me land. I have the floor. I don't get very pugilistic. Honestly, I didn't know we were going to have I thought I was coming for the economics of it. But in 1999, 26.4, and I've done the research here, 42 million people voted in 2003. You can check as well. 39 million in 2007 for presidential election, 39 million in 2011, 29 million in 2015, 29 million in 2019, and 26 million in 2023. What does that tell you? It tells you that because of the ubiquity of this phone and social media, people are snapping elections everywhere. Plus all the other things that maybe they are investing in INEC and so on. And the fact that Nigerians are vocal, the system is getting better. If you choose not to, if you choose,
a good place to hold on. We have to go for commercials. I am the only news central staff here, and that's how we pay.
Okay, well,
that's how they pay my salary. So I'm going to have to follow instructions on this one. You're watching A Place at the Table. Is the system rigged? That's a question. We'll go on a quick commercial break, and when we return, we'll pick up from where we left off. Just stay with us.
Send us iReport of happenings, authentic and verifiable updates around you. We want to see Africa through your eyes. Be an exclusive iReporter with News Central. Reach News Central's iReport desk on WhatsApp +234 705 500 1212 to report breaking news. You can also send via email to ireport@newscentral.africa. News Central, Africa first.
Because the future of our communities isn't decided in silence, it is shaped by individuals asking questions.
What is being done to ensure access to health, access to education?
I don't have money to rent us. They destroy me, I'm staying. I have 5 children, nowhere to go.
Do we offended the government?
This is News Central, empowering our viewers to shape the future of their communities.
Get ready to dial up entertainment with Take 3.
Catch the latest news and gist, as well as celebrity interviews. And let's not forget, of course, the exclusive behind-the-scenes access and more.
Take 3 is your one-stop shop for all things entertainment. Now I'm talking music, movies, live events, and of course the trending stories.
And delve into the world of entertainment like never before.
How do we save this country?
You move from the APC to the PDP.
Therefore, listen, I'm still paying teachers in Ondo State. The Olabode just should be expelled from the party.
It's an existential imbecility, utter nonsense.
Join me, Dapo Adeboye, on Politics HQ, where Nigeria's political heartbeat is felt. Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. on News Central.
You're welcome back to A Place at the Table, special edition on the subject, is the system rigged? And I wish a lot of you could see what happens behind the scenes. A lot of discussions and arguments with regards to data sets and statistics. But we promised you a no-holds-barred conversation, and I make bold to say that we have already delivered, and although we're only halfway through. Now let's tap into the reservoir of knowledge from our partners and experts in data analysis, visas, to ground us on the facts and figures before we kick off the second half. Over to you, IK.
Thank you, Benga.
At Vsauce, we believe that before we can answer the question, is the system rigged? We must first examine the evidence. And I'll be pointing at a couple of facts. In the 2023 presidential election, for example, the winning candidate received approximately 8.8 million votes. Now, Nigeria has about 93.5 million registered voters. This means that roughly 1 in every 10 registered voters ultimately chose the president of a country of over 220 million people. Now that's something to chew on. Another thing I would like to point is the PVC registration, the voter registration and PVC collection. In the last presidential election, about 87 million Nigerians collected their PVCs, yet only 24.9 million people voted. Now think about that for a moment. For every 10 Nigerians who armed themselves with the right to vote, 7 stayed at home on election day. The system didn't fail at registration because a lot of people registered, but something definitely happened after registration. Now, the third thing I would like to point out is that in 2003, Nigeria recorded its highest ever presidential election turnout at approximately 69%. Now, fast forward to 2023, this turnout fell from 69% to 26.7%, and this is the lowest in the history of our democracy. And looking at the numbers, it's a decline of more than 42 percentage points in just two decades. Now, mind you, we didn't have any wars, we didn't have any national catastrophe or natural disaster. We just had a steady stream or steady erosion of citizen participation over multiple election cycles. Now, these figures do not necessarily prove that the system is rigged or it is not, but they reveal something that is very, very important. A democracy can never be stronger than the confidence that the citizens have in it. And if millions of Nigerians are choosing not to participate, then perhaps the most important question is not simply whether the system is rigged. It is why so many citizens increasingly believe their participation no longer matters. I'll leave us to think more about this. Thank you, Benga. Over to you.
Thank you very much, IK. Very interesting points you raised there. So the ordinary people who have a blame have their own share of blame. Go out there and pick up your PVCs. Thank you once again, IK. I call it halftime. Do stay with us. We also went out to the streets to ask Nigerians what they feel about this question. Is the system rigged or not? We'll be right back after this.
We the people are the problem of all what's happening, in the sense that some of them, if you just give them 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, that's just it.
When they give you one pint of rice and then 5,000 naira, you stretch both hands and take it. What do you expect? Can that 5,000 feed you for 4 years? Well, if it can, good. But if it can't, you should think about it again before accepting it.
Biggest problem is that everybody wants to get there. Everybody wants to get there. The leaders, they don't want to leave their position. They want to be recycling themselves. And as well, they are making it difficult for new people to come in.
In as much as the masses are part of the problem, we don't deserve the leaders we get because the whole country, we are backward.
The day of elections, a lot of times their polling booths get set up late. Sometimes they don't get to bring the ballot paper on time for people to vote. People are tired. You cannot have access to a particular location where you actually register because they are not decentralized. You realize that in a particular community, the distance of where you can vote or where you even got your voter's card will be very far, and that can be discouraging for voters.
One of the biggest problems is that the issue of ballot snatching, touts, okay, where politicians make use of touts to chase people off, or what's it called, the polling booth.
Life is a gift. We either handle it with care, or if care is not taken, we will lose it to the sorrow of our loved ones. Welcome back to the heated discussions at the table. On the topic, is the system rigged? I'll read a few of your comments on the discussion so far. You're watching the special edition of A Place at the Table, and we're still asking, is the system rigged? Opeyemi, the ball is in your court.
And I just wanted to address a few things that I think are really very important. We're not saying that there's no hope in the system. We're just trying to, and for Yinka's initial point was that, how do we redesign it? If we didn't think there was hope, Peter will not be running for office. So let's get that clear. Number two, I think it's also important from Tope's point, in case it doesn't get, at least we were talking about it behind the scene. The fact that the numbers have gone down over time is not a sign that the system is improving. Yes, it's harder to write numbers, as you could. Yar'Adua said he knew he came in under rigged numbers. But at the same time, as Ike was saying, it's also a clear sign that people have less trust in the system, so they don't show up as much as they should. So we need to be very clear about those 2 points. And as Yinka said, those 2 points can hold to be true. Democracy is about participation. Democracy is not election. So it's not about how many votes you're writing on election day. Election day is the beginning of the process. And then after that, once you've elected people into office, holding them accountable, and to the question from the audience, what are the guardrails that allows us to do that? So a few other points. I think that it's important. A famous Bible verse, Psalm 11:3, says, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? For Nigeria, if the system is rigged to fail, what can the people do? And I think it's starting with a few fundamentals. Poverty and education. When people are poor and don't have access to education to increase their options, basic needs can be manipulated. We say politicians have weaponized poverty and the uneducated, but we really underestimate the cost to society. We've talked about the judiciary. The institution of democracy. In 1999, we returned to civilian rule, continuing the presidential system we had adopted in 1979. The interesting part is that there's really no part of Nigeria's educational system that teaches its citizens that democracy is about agency and voice. In other words, participation. For most Nigerians, democracy equals elections and events. Whereas it's a process that begins on election day, and after elections, we hold those who have been hired accountable. That's where the real work is, and that's where most of us are absent. Another interesting fundamental, violence. Governor Makinde of Oyo just realized that politics and insecurity are two sides of the same coin when it came to his doorstep. When we arm citizens to secure elections, underpaid armed men we call police, on look when people commit crimes, and security agencies encourage and support citizens in paying ransom. What are we really communicating to criminals? Again, so given these factors, maybe the system is not rigged, it's actually delivering the outcomes it was designed to produce. Abi?
Okay. I guess the floor is open for discussions.
Okay. Auntie Hilda. Peter, go ahead.
Peter, go.
Okay, so,
It's okay, calm down.
No, it's fine. I just want to make it clear that we understand that in talking about rigging, beneficiaries of a rigged system do not necessarily see anything wrong with it. It is victims of a rigged system who complain. Until when beneficiaries also turn to become victims, they also begin to see a problem with that rigged system. So that is how it goes. So because I found it interesting when Mr. Lawanson actually began by saying he's not sure whether the system is rigged, and then ended by saying it is not rigged. And then we begin to
No, you did.
No, you did. That was what you... Okay, maybe that was not what you said.
I said it's not perfect. It's not perfect.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is it is actually very dangerous. And let me state clearly on this table that we are in a situation in Nigeria today where we are governed by a party and a leadership that has no interest in free and fair elections. There is no need sugarcoating anything. Nigeria is in dire straits, and it is very convenient when people make excuses in comparison to the United States. 150 years democracy. The question is, how long does it take to build a proper and efficient electoral system? We can take example from a country like Ghana. Since America is so old, Ghana, 1959, we 1960. Have you taken time to look at the electoral process? Because your former INEC chairman was there pretending to try to teach them something he failed on. So let me tell you exactly how Nigeria's elections have come to this dangerous point. From 1999, under the PDP, there were flawed and rigged elections. But somehow they rigged elections for persons who were also popular, who will almost win that election. That was why, even when Yar'Adua said the elections that brought us were flawed, it is possible that if the elections were free and fair, he will likely win that election. The coming of the APC that were beneficiaries of a seemingly free and fair election saw some of the most criminal elections we ever had. In 2019, we had an unprecedented step where a sitting Chief Justice of the Federation was taken out based on his Code of Conduct Tribunal ex parte order that brought a Supreme Court justice that gave us a Imo State Supreme Court governor. That was where you began to see the calisthenics between the judiciary, the executive, and the legislative arms of government. And today, you can see clearly that if you say that according to numbers, with due respect to Uncle Tope, that the more they decline in the number, it then means the system is working. In a state like Rivers in 2015, Jonathan won with 1.4 million votes. 2019, Atiku 450,000 votes. By 2023, the person who won that election did not even get up to 200,000 votes. Meanwhile, the registered voter had increased. If not for the intervention of the sitting governor at the time in Rivers State, would that result have gone differently following the BBC documentary? So it then means we have strong men acting on the electoral process, and that is why you can hear the stories of Baba Shinedu and all of that here in Lagos. People as Nigerians must wake up and make sure you take free and fair election, because nobody will give it to you, not from this
Thank
government.
you very much. Peter, we need strong institutions and not strong men. Now, I'd like to bring in online panelist Kate Henshaw to take a contribution on this matter.
Hi, Benga.
Kate, I see you're beaming with a lot of smiles there. Go ahead, please.
What do you say?
I see you beaming and chuckling on this very serious issue of is the system rigged? What do you think?
No, because like I'm chuckling because really we've heard from people on the street. We've heard from even the panelists in the studio. As much as people want to say, "Oh, it's getting better," but if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. If the numbers are dwindling, then there is something fundamentally wrong. People do not trust the system. If they don't trust the system, they're going to say, why is it? It's a waste of my time to even come and cast a vote. But the other side is, if you don't come out, then they will have the more reason to rig and say, oh, these are the numbers. So I want to join and encourage all Nigerians, regardless of whatever it might look like. This is the only way we can actually show that we can choose who we want. We just have to keep trying. I choose to want to keep trying and trying than to give up. I'm not one who gives up. So I want to encourage everyone, regardless of what has happened in the past, this is the only way we can say that we have a say in choosing who, heads our government, who wants to have a heart for the people. It's so, so important. Regardless we have to be ready for whatever they bring, whoever they are, violence, whatever. Let us get ready to defend our votes, literally. That's what I want to add.
Thank you very much, Kate, for your contribution. From one Nollywood superstar to another Nollywood superstar. Madam Hilda, you have the floor.
Is the system rigged? And let's look at rigged. What exactly do you call rigged? If I have 1 hour in a day, and that 1 hour, I intend to use it to register or change my location to vote, and I spend 1 hour, and there's nobody to get me registered, but there's somebody who says to me, if you give me 10,000, I can take you through the back door. The rigging already started. Yeah. So the systems are already rigged. Yeah. So you find that you have a problem registering, then we move on to being sure that the card you have, you get it on time. They tell you, come on Wednesday, come on Friday. By the time you do all that back and forth for 1 month, you also get tired. Yeah. Your card is left with INEC, and then it becomes trash. That also is another way that they rig the system. Now, people tell you you're going to vote electronically, and then on that day you don't see any electronic anything, or you see things that are there but they don't work. If you have a car that does not move, no battery in it, it's already not a car, it's a box. So we need to understand these rigging processes and how they go. Then you get to the judiciary, they move your case from one place to the other. Let me give you a very good example of what happened in Rivers State. We had the local government election in 2025. In 2026, some kind of abracadabra happened that came from the court, and then people were asked to return to vote local government chairman again. On the day of this election, what we had was football matches on the streets of Port Harcourt. Children were playing football, men were playing football, women were cooking pepper soup, and we had street parties. And then the RESEC people were the ones, they were both the electorate, the electoral, everything. They were everything. And then we woke up, the next thing they called the election results, and since that day till today, no local government chairman in Rivers State will dare to say this is what he has done. Why? Because nobody was part of him winning that election. One Baba Sokpe stayed somewhere and Sokpe. In my own language, it's Amainabo them. Some Amainabo sat down somewhere and begged something, and that is the bearing that we're suffering till today. So this rigging, let's not just look at it as, oh, on the day of election, somebody carries a box and go. The system is rigged. The INEC boss himself cannot come out and tell Nigerians authoritatively that he's going to deliver on the mandate of his office. He'll probably stand on a mandate that has a name attached to it. But the mandate of his office may never happen. But so we don't need a God figure to rescue us. We need all of us as gods to rescue us. We need to all come together, agree. See, what has been the problem with us is, oh, this actor who is a presidential candidate or a gubernatorial candidate is from my place. So even though I know he's an... Okay, Hilda, calm down. Even though I know he does not deserve that office, because he's from my place, we push my place instead of pushing capacity. That's how we have all rigged our minds. Our own minds are rigged. So the first thing we need to do is get off that post and know that as soon as we put these people in any, or as soon as they put themselves in whatever office, the color of their vehicle changes. It becomes black. The glasses become black. Their homes change. The curtains change. You can't see through. And that's why they can come to your community, kidnap everybody in the community, and he will say he can't see the poverty in the system. That's why today in Mile, everywhere is burning. Fire is popping out from the ground, and everybody's saying, where is it happening? Nostra boss comes and he sees water that you pour into a glass, and in 15 seconds turns black. He says it's not harmful. I've told them to bring him. I want to, you know, give him a glass to just drink for and on behalf of all of us, so that he's able to prove to us. So let's look beyond where we come from. Let's look beyond our religion and begin to look at all of us as the saviors of Nigeria. That's who we are, and that's what role we must play this election.
Thank you very much. The saviors of Nigeria, a good place to pick it up. Mr. Tope Fasua is here on a ad hoc basis. He does have to leave, but by popular demand, we've asked that he should stay for some time, and then we'll just let you have the floor now. How do you, I mean, you're the only government official here, and you have a tough job selling hope, or maybe renewed hope to the people. How do you restore confidence and inspire confidence in ordinary Nigerians? Because what we've heard so far is a lot of negativity and loss of hope in the system.
Thank you very much, Benga. But they reminded me I didn't answer the lady's question. I thought I did at least halfway. Give me 50%. But if you want the redeeming features in terms of the guardrails, as in America, they still have problems in America. The president appoints many people on the Supreme Court as well. So for every leafu, there are other judges that are delivering good justice today.
I don't think America is a good example.
No. That's where we copied and pasted from, right? So there's a reason why we keep going back there. It's not like I'm not a Yankee person or whatever. So that's it. So please, you can't also totally not believe in our judicial system. I would encourage every young person here, please, even old people, go to court. The court is a free place. The High Court, the Federal High Court, the state. It is a free.
No, not everywhere.
I say it's a free place, but then again,
but they don't for highly charged political cases.
Not for
happened day before yesterday.
We are not talking of Showore's case. Showore is my
It's
friend.
part of it,
Let
please.
me don't please. I have the floor, please. You know
That is how you have been saying.
I have the floor, right? Is this supposed to be?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, so that's anyhow. So please, I want every young person or not so young people go to the court and just watch sessions on how they. And then they see people in the dock. You think that the justice system doesn't work, you'll be shocked. Anyhow, but back to your question.
Yeah,
how do we inspire hope? Honestly, the answer has been given by Peter, by Yemi, by Auntie Hilda here. Because no matter how far they went, you know, to the other side and said a lot of things, they always concluded that participation is what we do it. It is true that nobody served power a la carte. Nobody. And nobody wants to give it up if they had it. But, you know, in every few situations, chances are maybe Peter will win his constituency. We've seen people come from that angle and they get into where they want to get to. The only problem is if you go to the House of Reps or wherever you're trying, are you going to be able to change the system fully? That's debatable, you know. But the point is that Nigerians, as she said, are the ones that will save themselves. I don't think that the situation is really too bad. I think, you know, I mean, I think we have many redeeming features. Yeah, but I think the system is a reflection of who we are.
Bad, small.
You may look at, and every time, we always keep looking at presidency, but we're talking about down the line up to the council level. The system is our reflection as a people. If Nigerians get better and more intelligent, and then the system gets better. But I'm telling you that I am of the view that this 26.2 million, and it's a shock when I tell people, because most people didn't do the research. It's a shock when I tell you that, look, we had fewer votes than 1999. Now, contrary to what IK said, it's not that maybe people like IK, posh people like maybe Benga and co, you know, you guys don't go to vote. You need to come out on voting day and see, especially for the presidential level, everybody is out. And some people in the villages, they vote several times. So,
do you know that people are physically
Are you aware that in Lagos State in 2023, that people were physically flogged out of Lagos State? Are you aware? Do you condemn that? Of course, I condemn. I want to. Are you aware?
Okay, Brenda, please, let me land on my point.
People voted multiple times.
In many places, people still vote. They will vote for APC here, vote for PDP there, vote for LP there, collect all the money. And that's also inside this vote. So look, our statistics is getting better, is what I'm telling you. And it's a valid point. Yeah, of course, that does not say that, okay, that some people are not going to vote. But the people who are not going to vote are those people, those middle class people who are so comfortable. They're watching CNN on that day. And then you're not complaining about what the results. You have to get involved. And of course, I give kudos to whoever will dare the system and also try to get involved in the electoral process, just as Peter is saying, just like you did, just as I did. And I also started a party. I'm not one of those people who will be going around, you jump to LP today, you jump to ADC tomorrow, you jump to... Nobody is going to lay the bed for you to come and sleep on it and say you're the boss. You have to get involved. There's a lot of sacrifice.
Thank you very much,
that you have to do. Thank you very much,
Fasua.
Thank you so much.
We have to go for a commercial break at this point. When we come back, we'll take some audience comments and then continue our discussion here. Thank you so much. This is a Place at the Table on News Central Television. We'll be right back after this quick timeout.
In the heart of the oil-rich Niger Delta, the backbone of Nigeria's economy hangs in the balance. Who protects Nigeria's resources? Who stands guard against threats? Welcome to the future of oil and gas securities with Tantita Security Services. Using cutting-edge technology, real-time intelligence, and highly trained operatives, Tantita Security Services is the shield protecting Nigeria's vital assets. From our vast coastline to the deepest creeks, from offshore platforms to onshore pipelines, Tantita is on the front line, ensuring security, stability, and success. Equipped with state-of-the-art combat boats, ground-to-air drones, and advanced surveillance technology, Tantita delivers unmatched protection against oil theft and pipeline vandalism. Tantita Security Services, protecting assets, securing investments, defending Nigeria.
There are people, many of them trying to salvage whatever they can salvage.
Right behind me are members of the Nigerian police force to alert the protesters that they've gone past their time.
They came out with reinforcement, basically. All right, at the moment, 2 roll on now.
Election everywhere, where we copied from, are manipulated. If you call it rigging, because politicians know what it is, and so they will always rig the process. So unless you understand that it's a marathon and not a 100-meter dash, that's where you now know how to play with them if you really want to take it from them. But if you believe that idea that, oh, the election is already rigged, there's nothing we can do. Olari to me, in The Gods Are Not to Blame, said to sit down, resign to fate is madness. Nobody changes a system by sitting down to resign to fate and say it is already rigged. I can never understand with that person, because it's like asking me to go for a battle. I know the equipment to use to fight that battle, and I am not prepared for it. And then I make excuse that, oh no, if I go there, I will be defeated. You are, for people who have that kind of mindset, they are twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you win even before you start. And that's why people need to understand that when politicians want you to have voters apathy, yes, that's what they want. Whether you turn out or not, they already have a pool where they will draw from. Those people are those people who are ready to collect 10,000, 5,000, 15,000, 20,000 from them. Those are the people they want out. You that will not collect money, they don't even want you to come. If they can do anything to discourage you, they will do it.
You're welcome back to A Place at the Table special broadcast. The conversation is Road to 2027. Is the system rigged? We still have quite a lot to unpack on today's discussion. Just a quick announcement when we went for that hydration break, because that's what they are doing at the World Cup now. There was a quick substitution. Tope Fasua out, and we have Mr. Ladi Lawanson in. If you ask me, I'll say it's a great fit, because Tope Fasua is in the government. Mr. Ladi Lawanson was in the government, so it will give us an insider's perspective as to how things run in the system. I would hand over the floor to Yinka to pick up from where we left off.
It was Chimamanda that said we have to be careful of the danger of a single story. And of the myself and Yemi agreed on the fact that when we're having this conversation about voter apathy, there are two sides to that story. There is evidence really showing that Nigerians have not been going to the polls. And one of the strongest evidence is when you look at voter registration in 2003, and then you look at voter registration in 2023, 20 years. All right, there's a 54% gain vote cast. So that tells you that there is, clear evidence, because if we say that the numbers are similar, then we should retain the numbers, at least the base number, and increase it. But what we've seen is that it's come down. But there's also evidence to show that the system is working in the terms of what has happened between 2003 and 2023. And you only have to look at the accreditation system in 2003 and the accreditation system in 2023. In 2003, we were still using the manual paper-based accreditation system. So basically, which means that the politicians could match up accreditation to voter register in a polling unit. So the pool for rigging or vote padding was larger. But in 2015, which was arguably perhaps the most, the biggest consequential election in this country has ever had, we had the card reader, which was a monumental innovation at that time. And what we saw was that for the first time, voter turnout, dropped below 50%. So essentially, what the system shows is that as the accreditation system is getting better, the pool for vote rigging became smaller. And we're seeing that evidence in turnout. So yes, there's evidence for voter apathy, but there's also evidence that the system, in terms of the electoral process of election, is also getting better. For me, in terms of how do we move forward, because that's what we're all talking about. How do we move forward from here? You cannot change this system from outside. You cannot change this system from outside. You're going to have to deal with this system from inside. And what do I mean? Number one, the Constitution. The Constitution already puts a handcuff on a lot of us, because the Constitution says that every election, the party must produce the candidate. The Constitution in Nigeria today does not approve independent candidacy. So even if we say that at the level of president, you must have a party, what about the level of councillors? Do you need to really have a party? So as of today, the Nigeria Constitution says that you must be in a party or not. In fact, the reality is that the Nigeria Constitution says the party owns the vote. You only have to go back to 2008, Amechi versus INEC, and see how that process, that Amechi didn't even contest for the election, because there was a flawed system in the primaries. The Supreme Court gave Amechi the vote. So the system, you have to look at it from how do we change the Constitution? What I see a lot that is happening is that Nigerians like to talk a lot, but we don't like to do the process. The kind of things that Yemi, the kind of things that they are doing, Nigerians don't like to do it. What we want is that we want to talk a lot, we want to shout on social media, and we want to believe miraculously that the system will change. The system would not change. Nigeria's constitution so far has been amended 5 times. We are in the process of the 6th amendment. So it is possible to amend the constitution. The second part of it is the Electoral Act. And the reality is that you cannot amend the Electoral Act if you are not in the legislature. In the National Assembly. So the way to change the system is not apathy. It's to get into that system, test the system like people like Peter are doing, get into that space and then change it. I will be shocked if a Peter gets to the National Assembly and when it comes to electronic voting, he votes no. I'll be shocked.
They do it all the time.
But get a lot of him in that space, we might have that chance to change the system from within and deliver to Nigerians a credible election system.
Thank you very much, Yinka. And now that the focus is on you, Peter, I mean, coming from the outside, coming from your background in activism, many Nigerians will be wondering, look, you're just going to be one of 360 members of REP. So how do you force that change as one person?
I mean, that is why we must understand that nation building is a collective. It's not a singular that somebody goes there and then you begin the touch that changes everything. what Nigerians must understand is that this system is stacked against the people. It does not matter any side of it you try to look at. The apathy is also deliberate. The fewer people come out to vote, the easier it is to buy votes, the easier it is to do whatever you want to do. I mean, we even have an INEC chairman seated today that is in contention of whether he was a partisan or is a member of a party. And there is no independent audit to do that. We had issues of persons that were confirmed by the National Assembly as resident electoral commissioners that are card-carrying members of the ruling party. So as it is today, for me, I want, as a young person, I'll be talking to young people to know that, look, Nigerians, our case be like, I don't know if we go understand them. It is like a lady who was married or is married in an abusive relationship. And unfortunately for that woman, she came from a home where her mother was a victim. And in that abusive marriage, when she runs back to the mother continues to tell her that, look, there's no perfect marriage. Oh. You see, say your papa said, now so the manager. You see this marriage, now pray everybody they take the manager and don't worry, it go better. So she does not believe that she can have a spouse that will love her. A lot of young Nigerians have been victims of so much bad government, they do not believe good governance is possible. So they have little or no energy to put on something they believe would never work. So the whole idea is, let me hustle, get some things, leave this japa from this country. But I continue to say to all of us, you can still become a victim of a system you chose to ignore. Yeah. Chief Bola Tinubu is not ready to give you free and fair elections. If you doubt me, let us on this a place at the table throw a challenge to President Tinubu to come out and raise his hand to his Quran. His wife is a pastor, to her Bible, and say, I, Bola Tinubu, I pledge that I want to do free and fair elections in Nigeria. I know that free and fair I will win. And I am committed to make sure we have electoral reform to see that through. That I will get an INEC chairman that will be truly independent. So it is what the majority of the people chose to make out of that system. The weapon where they want use to kill you, you can use it to protect yourself. In 2027, elections will not be free and fair because any law was changed. Yeah. It is because the people decided that they wanted to pick their leaders, no matter the circumstance. So as a young person, I'm coming out to vote. Look at to contest. Look at other credible people. Not because they are young. A young person can be a thief. Yaya Bello was young and then went and became governor, and then you know the EFCC and all of that. So if a young person is a thief, if he grows old, he will be an old thief. So look at persons of character. Let us become interested and know that 2027, it is about our lives. It is the victims against the failed system. It's as simple as that.
Thank you very much, Peter. Well, they'll tell you that the Nigerian Constitution says you're innocent until proven otherwise. The case is in court, Mr. Yaya Bello.
Nobody referred to him as a criminal.
Okay.
No, I just said he has an EFCC case of about...
Just saying. I'd like to come to Mr. Ladi Lawanson. Would like to take your perspectives on this. I mean, as a former insider, albeit an appointee, is the system rigged? What's your take?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to put on record that it's my interest in community development and in being part of a conversation that leads to the emergence of leaders that got me into office. All right? So, and also, there's no alchemy by which you can get golden results from leading instincts. Nigerian leaders didn't come from Mali.
They're Nigerians.
They are Nigerians before they became leaders. Now, also, if you want to know the tyranny of the downtrodden, let your car break down on 3rd Mainland Bridge at 2:30 a.m. It won't be Tinubu who will do it. It won't be Sanwo-Olu. What's the point I'm making? Every single one of us has a duty to contribute towards the Nigeria that we want. All right? So, being a good citizen comes from little things like throwing trash out of a car. I see that happen every day. And I stop and say, why are you doing that? It's part of participating in governance. All right? So Peter seems to contradict himself. He would like to paint a picture that we have a totally faulty system. And yet he emerged as a candidate. And then he's given an example of Kano State, where the people of Kano collectively chose a candidate that was not part of the ruling party, and they won. And earlier on, I gave the same example in Lagos, our Lagos in 2023. Lagos is so rigged that a non-APC party won the first election in Lagos. But am I saying that the system is perfect? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that where the people are motivated and where they mobilize and where they have a strong voice, irrespective of what the system on ground is, it must pay attention to their agitation. That's what I said.
Thank you very much, Mr. Larson. It's the end of the month. You know what that means. It's salary week, so we have to go pay some bills. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
In the heart of the oil-rich Niger Delta, the backbone of Nigeria's economy hangs in the balance. Who protects Nigeria's resources? Who stands guard against threats? Welcome to the future of oil and gas securities with Tantita Security Services. Using cutting-edge technology, real-time intelligence, and highly trained operatives, Tantita Security Services is the shield protecting Nigeria's vital assets. From our vast coastline to the deepest creeks, from offshore platforms to onshore pipelines, Tantita is on the front line, ensuring security, stability, and success. Equipped with state-of-the-art combat boats, ground-to-air drones, and advanced surveillance technology, Tantita delivers unmatched protection against oil theft and pipeline vandalism. Tantita Security Services, protecting assets, securing investments, defending Nigeria.
Get ready to dial up entertainment with Take 3.
Catch the latest news and gist, as well as celebrity interviews. Now let's not forget, of course, the exclusive behind-the-scenes access and more.
Take 3 is your one-stop shop for all things entertainment. Now I'm talking music, movies, live events, and of course the trending stories.
And delve into the world of entertainment like never before.
It is now left for you to say, you know what, I don't want to be frustrated with these ethics stacked against me. You want to take over from somebody, you want to take structure, you want to take power from them. You expect them to just submit it to you and give you a process that will allow you to take it from them. No. And that's why some people, when they talk about Tinubu, they talk about Goodluck Jonathan, they'll tell you a question, a big hyphen. Tinubu is not Jonathan. Why? Tinubu understands power. He understands how to manipulate the process to his favor. Jonathan does not understand it that way. That's what they are basically telling you. They are not telling you that, oh, Tinubu is better. No, that in terms of manipulation, this man has been doing it. So you must also learn, you must learn to work twice better than him in terms of manipulation. If you want to confront him, you can't say, look, I want to play it fair when you know that the man who's coming to play with you is not playing fair. He's not even planning to play fair. So what you do, you ensure that you also have your gloves on, and once in a while, find a way you can punch below the belt. So this idea of, oh, they will not allow us. Look, I say this thing. You are not a human being except government says you are. That's why they give you certificate of registration, identity card. You are not educated except government says you are. Certificate of graduation. Even you can't run a company, you can't even open an account without government recognizing you. And the people that will determine whether you are a human being or not, you allow them, just say, they will not allow us. They understand the enormity of the powers that they wield. In a land of lawlessness, it is illegal to be law-abiding.
You're welcome back to the special live edition of The Place at the Table. The discussion is on Road to 2027. It's the system rigged. Interesting conversations we've had with our distinguished panelist here this afternoon in our studio in Lagos. We like to keep things interactive here, so we're going to display this QR code. Please scan to respond live. Kindly fill this data poll that will be collated by the end of the program. We would like to take your feedback. It's very important for our live studio audience, and also those at home can participate in this. Let's take some YouTube comments before we take final thoughts from the audience and our panelists as we're inching closer to the end of today's program. Tracy Jacobin 4325 on YouTube says, "What is this APC man talking about?" He's very confused set of people. Okay, not the best to start with. Tokoye says, "There's hope for Nigeria." A very optimistic message there. Michael Eteng says, "We don't trust the system, but we will vote." I'm sure a lot of people would encourage you to do that. Elijah Adetunji Olaniyan says, "It's a serious issue. Only God knows when Nigeria will get it right." I'm sure our panelists here would say we shouldn't wait to God. For God, we have the powers in our hands. And Linux B9687 says, "It's truly well with Nigeria. We need a change in government." Those are the YouTube comments we have. We'll do this. Let's just take 2 comments from members of the audience. Keep it simple, short, and succinct so that we can take final thoughts from members of the panel. And if you've had the floor before, please yield members. Let's democratize the space so that they won't say the system is rigged. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Omokunle. I'm a medical doctor and also an entrepreneur. 2 questions, or one is a comment and a question. Can democracy really work where we have extreme poverty? Because yes, we can get all the good people that have good intentions into government, but who will do the voting? Still the people. When people are extremely poor, and really, so I was telling this person here that we can sit here and talk all the big English we want and say everything and vibrate. The people that really vote in all those nooks and crannies and rural areas, they're extremely poor. And most of them don't watch these programs. They don't listen to this stuff.
Thank you, Doctor. Because of time, I'll have to moderate your time. Right. The question is, can democracy work in a multi-dimensional poor environment? Yes. Can democracy work in a place where they are throwing bread at you? You have the floor, sir.
My name is Zekeri My comment is around...
can we please pass the mic to him? It's not very audible. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Seydou Basharu. My comment is around the messaging. What kind of message are we passing out? Because what I'm hearing is almost a people condemning a process that has not even concluded yet. We're already saying this process is flawed, despite the Electoral Act that's been passed. And what kind of impression do we want to give? Because already we're invalidating the process before it even starts. Eventually, we're going to have a president who cannot stand among
but some of the concerns are legitimate.
Yes, so it is. There's problem with the system, but is the whole system faulty? I would say no. So we should be careful with the messaging so that we don't send wrong signal. I'd also want to argue that while it's true that people turnout is very poor, it could be because the messaging we're sending out is that your vote would not count anyway. So why should I even go there? So we should be careful with the way we're passing this message. We should go out there, vote, right, and ensure that our vote is counted. But should we invalidate the process? I think I have a problem.
Thank you very much. Please, let's give our fantastic audience members a round of applause. We'll take final comments before we wrap things up. We have a few minutes left. So in 60 seconds, please, to our distinguished panelists. We'll go clockwise. Yinka, you have the floor.
All right. So I'll take my reading from Seydou, right? Yeah, and I agree with you absolutely. Yeah. I think that our system is flawed. It is imperfect. but it's what we got, and we can improve it. I was watching I think it was listed just about yesterday or something. The American Experiment is on Netflix. 250 years of democracy, and they still call it an experiment. Democracy is not the perfect system of government, but it's the best that we have. And the truth is that at every point in time, we will have that system tested, either from within or without. The challenge is this.
Okay.
If people don't come together, ensure that they fight for this democracy, we will not have a country. And I think that that's the message that we should carry from here. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Madam Hilda.
Our Constitution says...
He's eating into your 60 seconds, so you have 50 seconds.
Our Constitution says that the party has the vote. So it's our responsibility as a people to belong to political parties, so that from that structure, we're able to give to the rest of Nigeria candidates that are credible, candidates that we can vouch for. So wherever they come from, whatever the name of the party is, they're people who can protect, defend, and uphold the values of this country.
Thank you very much.
That's what we need to move forward.
Peter, my producer says we should reduce it to one sentence.
Can democracy thrive in the midst of poverty? Yes. In fact, under wicked regimes, poverty becomes a weapon against the people. 2023 elections, clear example. What happened in that election? Unaccounted 38,000 polling unit blood results. Let us understand that, remember the statement of Governor Makinde to Nigerians, that a minister of FCT promised a president that I will be in a certain political party and hold it for you. So what you see as voter party, what you see with what he also made a statement from responding to him is also deliberate. It is not because people were told that their votes will not count. Did Obiakpo people come out to vote or not? What happened to their results? Let it be clear, the system, nobody is interested in giving you free and fair elections. Nigerians as a people must know that if you go to court, it is a general hospital to bandage your injuries without anesthesia. Nobody they go court for 2027. We must move from the vote no go count to it must count. In 2027, be courageous and bold enough to know that your vote will count if enough of the people say
you very much,
it should
Peter.
count.
And I'll say to that, both the poverty question and your question, the issue is we're laying out the issues as they are.
Yeah.
Poverty is a problem. Yeah. But who has created a system that impoverizes, that you don't educate? We have 40 people still missing from 40 plus days ago in Oyo. We have people missing in Borno, people missing from Kwara, and everybody is going on as business as usual. So when a people are intentionally pauperized, are intentionally uneducated, what results are you expecting to happen? So what we have tried to do, in my view, is to lay out what the issues are and then throw the challenge at citizens. That in this system, understanding what the challenge is and how it is framed, if you want different outcomes, then you have to decide how you want to play. Yeah. And to your point, a big responsibility lies on conversations like this and people to educate. That unless you educate people so they can connect the dots, they will keep making the same decision. So the system has to work because we choose to participate, not just on election day, but in the process.
Yes. Thank you very much, Yemi. Mr. Lownson, 30 seconds.
Yes, do we have guardrails? Yes, we do have guardrails. Electoral law is a guardrail because the law prescribes rules and regulations that govern behavior in election periods. And there are sanctions there for people who offend. So that's one guardrail. The courts are another guardrail. But most importantly, the ultimate guardrail in a democracy are the people. So even when institutions fail in advanced democracies, the people go out and they force the leaders to do the right thing. So what is my recommendation? We are the ultimate guardrails of our democracy and of our country. We're all stakeholders. To the extent to which we participate and contribute, that will be to the extent to which we have the country of our choice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lownson. Please let's give our fantastic panelists a round of applause. And I'd like to hand over to our resident data analyst, IK. You have the floor.
Thank you. Okay.
Go ahead, IK.
Thank you, Benga. It feels good to be back again. So as the program was going on, we opened an online poll and we asked the audience a couple of questions, or the viewers a couple of questions. First one
we asked, do you believe the Nigeria's electoral system is currently rigged against ordinary citizens? And we have over 80% saying yes, just 4% saying they are not sure, and 1% saying it's mostly fair. The next question was, what part of the electoral process do you trust the least? So we basically wanted to test what part of the electoral system people trust the least. And interestingly, INEC came tops as the least trusted process or institution within the framework of the electoral system, because you have INEC and election administration as well as election day voting process. The next question was, in your opinion, what is the biggest reason many Nigerians do not vote? And top 75% said that it's because of a lack of trust in the system. Only 12% said they didn't see any candidate worth voting for, and just a very tiny bit alluding to security issues, economic hardship, logistical challenges, and other reasons. And last but not the least, the single reform that could improve confidence in 2027 elections. And top of the list was electronic transmission of results, followed by independent appointment of INEC leadership. So this is what our viewers felt or feel about the upcoming 2027 election, and if they think the system is rigged. Trust me, this poll wasn't rigged. It is exactly what our viewers and our studio audience said. Back to you, Benga.
And this is where we begin to wind things down. I'd like to say a big thank you to our distinguished panelists, Yinka, Madam Hilda, Peter, Yemi, and Mr. Ladi Lawanson. And of course, fantastic audience. We do appreciate your participation, and you do deserve a round of applause. It's been a pleasure being your host, speaking on the topic, Road to 2027, is the system rigged? The conversation goes on outside of this, so you can interact with the hashtag, drop your comments on our social media handles, and we'll be sure to take them. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host for today's conversation. I am Benga Aborowa. Till next time, bye-bye.
I think during the Abiola 1993, it has not been right. So our vote in Nigeria doesn't count. Let's just be honest with each other.
Yeah, I believe my vote has always counted. And I've always encouraged people to come out to vote. Rather, I will try to make them understand why they should vote, rather than telling them why they shouldn't vote. Because if we keep pushing the narrative that your vote doesn't count, people will keep going back and they see opportunity to take advantage of us.
The people that win the election in Nigeria, definitely 70% of them are not people we voted for.
Me personally, I don't believe in voting in Nigeria because the person who wins the election is not the person who votes for.
The vote counts in the governors and presidential election. That's why I will advise everybody to come out and vote. It's your civil rights. As a youth, come out and vote. If you didn't vote, that's when you are giving them the right and the opportunity to rig the election.
It feels like your vote in Nigeria does not count, even though we'll keep voting, even though we feel it does not count. Hopefully it will one day.
Either we get bullied to allowing whoever wants to come in to come in. It doesn't just work by voting.
Election everywhere, where we copied from, are manipulated, if you call it rigging, because politicians know what it is, and so they will always rig the process. So unless you understand that it's a marathon and not a 100-meter dash, that's where you now know how to play with them if you really want to take it from them. But if you believe that idea that, oh, the election is already rigged, there's nothing we can do. Olari, to me, in The Gods Are Not to Blame, said to sit down, resign to fate is madness. Nobody changes a system by sitting down to resign to fate and say it is already rigged. I can never understand with that person, because it's like asking me to go for a battle. I know the the equipment to use to fight that battle, and I am not prepared for it, and then I make excuse that, oh no, if I go there I will be defeated. You are for people who have that kind of mindset, they are twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you win even before you start. And that's why people need to understand that when politicians want you to have voters apathy, yes, that's what they want. Whether you turn out or not, they already have a pool where they will draw from. Those people are those people who are ready to collect 10,000, 5,000, 15,000, 20,000 from them. Those are the people they want out. You that will not collect money, they don't even want you to come. If they can do anything to discourage you, they will do it.
We the people are the problem of all what is happening, in the sense that there are some of them, if you just give them 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, that's just it.
When they give you one pint of rice and then 5,000 naira, you stretch both hands and take it. What do you expect? Can that 5,000 feed you for 4 years? Well, if it can, good. But if it can't, you should think about it again before accepting it.
Biggest problem is that everybody wants to get there. Everybody wants to get there. The leaders, they don't want to leave their position. They want to be recycling themselves. And as well, they are making it difficult for new people to come in.
In as much as the masses are part of the problem, we don't deserve the leaders we get, because the whole country, we are backward.
The day of elections, a lot of times their polling booths get set up late. Sometimes they don't get to bring the ballot paper on time for people to vote. People are tired. You cannot have access to a particular location where you actually register, because they are not decentralized. You realize that in a particular community, the distance of where you can vote or where you even got your voter's card will be very far. That can be discouraging for voters.
One of the biggest problems is that the issue of ballot snatching, touts, okay, where politicians make use of touts to chase people off, or what's it called, the polling booth.
It is now left for you to say, you know what, I don't want to be frustrated with these ethics stacked against me. You want to take over from somebody, you want to take structure, you want to take power from them. You expect them to just submit it to you and give you a process that will allow you to take it from them. No. And that's why some people, when they talk about Tinubu, they talk about Goodluck Jonathan, they will tell you a question, a big hyphen. Tinubu is not Jonathan. Why? Tinubu understands power. He understands how to manipulate the process to his favor. Jonathan does not understand it that way. That's what they are basically telling you. They are not telling you that, oh, Tinubu is better. No. That in terms of manipulation, this man has been doing it. So you must also learn, you must learn to work twice better than him in terms of manipulation. If you want to confront him, you can't say, look, I want to play it fair, when you know that the man who's coming to play with you is not playing fair. He's not even planning to play fair. So what you do, you ensure that you also have your gloves on, and once in a while find a way you can punch below the belt. So these are, oh, they will not allow us. Look, I say this thing. You are not a human being except government says you are. That's why they give you certificate of registration, identity card. You are not educated except government says you are. Certificate of graduation. Even you can't run a company, you can't even open an account without government recognizing you. And the people that will determine whether you are a human being or not, you allow them, just say, they will not allow us. They understand the enormity of the powers that they wield. In a land of lawlessness, it is illegal to be law-abiding.
If I have the means to change something in our electoral system, in fact, it is not just our electoral system, the country as a whole is corruption. If we can stop corruption in all aspects, then we have solved 90% of the problem.
The leaders, they are the one controlling the INEC, you know. So without that, without, you know, trying to get them out of the way and put in some new set of people can never work in Nigeria.
For me personally, if I were to say that it's going to be possible to change the Nigerian situation today, those are our leaders as well. I'm not praying God should touch their hearts, that's all. Because by we, the leader of the citizen of the country, it's going to be difficult, no matter how the protest we did.
Delete everybody on that seat, every one of them, and put good minds, like minds, people that have sense. Because this sense we're talking about these days is no longer common. People with common sense.
They should allow everybody to vote freely, not marginalizing people, just like what happened in the past. And let our vote count.
The electoral chairman, INEC chairman, should not be appointed by the president. In journalism, it says, he who pays the piper takes the tone.
1,000 people registered in a particular place, but only 200 are able to go and vote because of the distance. So if they can decentralize and make it easy, a lot of people are registering now. How do they collect the PVC? Is it easy to collect after registration and all of that? So I think that's what can. And if they can, I know they said they've computerized it, but that needs to be worked on a lot if we want to have a free and fair election in the coming election.
In the heart of the oil-rich Niger Delta, the backbone of Nigeria's economy hangs in the balance. Who protects Nigeria's resources? Who stands guard against threats? Welcome to the future of oil and gas securities with Tantita Security Services. Using cutting-edge technology, real-time intelligence, and highly trained operatives, Tantita Security Services is the shield protecting Nigeria's vital assets. From our vast coastline to the deepest creeks, from offshore platforms to onshore pipelines, Tantita is on the front line, ensuring security, stability, and success. Equipped with state-of-the-art combat boats, ground-to-air drones, and advanced surveillance technology, Tantita delivers unmatched protection against oil theft and pipeline vandalism. Tantita Security Services, protecting assets, securing investments, defending Nigeria.
Get ready to dial up entertainment with Take 3.
Catch the latest news and gist, as well as celebrity interviews. Now let's not forget, of course, the exclusive behind-the-scenes access and more.
Take 3 is your one-stop shop for all things entertainment. Now I'm talking music, movies, live events, and of course the trending stories.
And delve into the world of entertainment like never before.
How do we save this country?
We moved from the APC to the PDP.
Therefore, listen, I'm still paying teachers in Ondo State. If Olabode just should be expelled from the party.
It's an existential imbecility, utter nonsense.
Join me, Tope Fasua, on Politics HQ, where Nigeria's political heartbeat is felt. Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. on News Central.
We live in a society where opinions are loud, but understanding is rare. Where conversations move fast, but truth is often left behind.
You are enough. I tell people you're worthy of confidence, you're powerful.
So, we created a place where voices are heard, not rushed, where stories are told and not judged. This is a safe space for honest conversations for real people. From love and family to faith and leadership, culture and purpose, the conversations that shape our lives told by those living them. The Mariah Show, because Every voice matters.
In Katsina State, the sounds of daily life seems to continue, but beneath the routine, many families are carrying a growing burden of fear. Fear of the next attack, fear of the next abduction, fear of what tomorrow may bring. For too many communities, insecurity is no longer a headline. It is a lived reality. Yet, even in the face of uncertainty, people continue to show resilience. They continue to rebuild. They continue to hope. But hope alone is not enough. People want answers. People want action. That is why News Central is bringing the conversation directly to the people. Residents, traditional rulers, security stakeholders, community leaders, government representatives, all in one room. Because the voices closest to the problem must be part of the solution. The News Central Town Hall Series, coming to Katsina State.
As the world winds down, the truth is just beginning to unfold. Stories tonight. ICRC mourns rising space of kidnapping in Nigeria's north.
We need electoral reforms. The way it worked now did not work for us.
Join us tonight at 9 p.m. where we bring the world to your screen with clear and incisive reports. Tonight on News Central, every story counts.
I am Sunny Irabo, and I have something special for you. Join me every week for thought-provoking conversations with Africa's most influential leaders and change makers from diverse sectors.
The solution to this is not about begging for food or giving food away. The solution is for Africa to have a bowl in hand, not to beg, but to put seed in those bowls and grow its own food.
Together, we'll explore innovative solutions to the continent's most pressing challenges, from social commentary to politics, the economy, health, family, and lifestyle. We will connect the dots with exclusive interviews with those who are at the forefront of realizing the continent's potential. Expect fresh, interesting, and engaging interviews on the issues that not only matter to us, but that affect Africa and Africans. Sunny Irabo live on News Central.
From the heart of Borno to the shores of Lake Chad, where conflict rages, courage rises, and survival is a daily battle. One voice cuts through the noise.
The battle to maintain peace in the northeast Nigeria continue.
Bringing you the truth from the front lines. Walking the ground scarred by violence, listening to the voices often silenced by fear.
It's very terrible. I never pray for even my enemy to experience such a thing.
Every report a window into resilience. Every story a reminder of hope. I am Umoru Kirawa, reporting where many fear to go and telling the stories that must be heard. News Central, fearlessly reporting on what matters most.
Words have power. They build worlds, challenge truths, and capture the soul of a continent. African voices are rewriting the stories of who we are. From Lagos to Nairobi, Johannesburg to Accra.
I grew up with the sort of sense of assurance about my place in the world. I didn't question whether or not I needed to have a voice. I had one.
Welcome to Literati, the home for words that move, stories that matter, and authors who dare to imagine. Every week, we sit down with brilliant minds shaping Africa's literary landscape. Literati, only on News Central.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
You know, in my head, I wanted to do the whoo like Michael Jackson does. I couldn't do it, so I was like, let me just keep quiet.
No, try it.
It's another exciting trip. Today's show is packed as always. My name is Kate Adeogo, and yes, we're taking a moment to remember the one and only Michael Jackson, the king of pop, in the biker's words, and moving like a devil here 17 years after the world lost him. His music, influence, and style, legacy as well, still lives on. And today we celebrate that impact.
Yep. Let me say the
ow! Yes!
And I'm aka the voice of God. Yeah, back home, the internet is busy again as rapper YC questions Nigerian shift from academic excellence to online clout, while filmmaker Abiodun Stevens is speaking up over road indiscipline and the everyday frustration many Nigerians can relate to. Now, these are the kinds of conversations that go on that's just beyond entertainment as well, and straight into culture, values, and how we're living today.
Right.
Yes, so.
And about this, it doesn't stop there. Nancy Simmer is getting people talking after a comment on money and love spark reactions online. While in trending, the panelist I Don't Steal claim is stirring mixed reactions across social media. So whether it's legacy, lifestyle, or loud opinion on the timeline, we've got plenty to unpack. Let's get straight into it.
Do not steal.
I don't steal.
I do not steal.
We don't do that.
On entertainment news, Nigerian filmmaker Akinola Davis Jr. has been invited to become a member of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, the body behind the Academy Awards. The invitation recognizes his growing influence in global filmmaking and follows the international acclaim of his work and most recently My Father's Shadow. Membership gives Davis Jr. the opportunity to vote for future Oscar winners alongside some of the most respected figures in the film industry. Nollywood actress Omeche Oko has expressed gratitude to God following a ghastly motorbike accident on a movie set in Lagos. On Wednesday, the film movie star shared a video of the incident, which occurred just 3 days before her birthday, via her Instagram page. Captioned in the video, Oko revealed that she came very close to death and describing life as very fragile. In a now viral clip, Oko was seen shooting a scene on a bike with her colleague Victor Michael, who was riding the motorcycle when it rammed into a pole. Colleagues and crew members at the scene immediately rushed the duo to an undisclosed medical facility for treatment. A federal high court in Abuja has ordered the DSS to investigate claims that evidence tendered in an alleged coup plot trial of 6 men accused of plotting against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was leaked on social media by activist Very Dark Man. Justice Joyce Abdulmalik directed the DSS to identify how the materials got online and probe any breach of witness protection orders. The defendants denied involvement in the leak. The court also heard bail applications with a ruling scheduled for July 20th. Meanwhile, a DSS witness insisted that defendants' statements were made voluntarily and without torture as the prosecution closed its case in the trial within trial. A Lagos magistrate court has arraigned TikToker Oladimeji Hamad, popularly known as Immunizer, over alleged cyberbullying and online harassment of Mohbad's widow Omoyele Aloba. Police accused the 27-year-old of posting harmful and provocative content about Omoyele between February and March, including allegations about her marriage, private photos, and other defamatory claims. Prosecutors said the post exposed her to public ridicule and online threats. Hamad pleaded not guilty and was granted bail with strict conditions, including 2 shorties and proof of tax compliance. Nigerian singer and rapper Olumide Lade Martin Alejo, popularly known as YC, has opened up about his struggle with mental health, revealing that he was diagnosed with a mental health condition in 2020. Speaking in a recent episode of the Afropolitan podcast, YC disclosed that the situation also contributed to his break from the music industry. The Omo Alaji crooner said he was hospitalized in London for 3 months after the diagnosis before later returning to Nigeria to continue treatment and therapy. The rapper added that he's now stable after treatment and therapy. He had added that the diagnosis helped him better understand some of the challenges he had been facing. He encouraged conversations around mental health and emphasized the importance of seeking help when needed. Afrobeat singer Spyro has claimed that many religious leaders are benefiting from Nigeria's insecurity and economic hardship, making them reluctant to speak out against the country's challenges. Speaking in a recent interview, the Who's Your Guy singer said clerics have a responsibility to address insecurity and provide proper electoral orientation to their congregation. He argued that religious leaders often often gain the most during periods of crisis and should be held accountable alongside political leaders. Spyro urged religious leaders to use their platforms to advocate for the well-being and safety of Nigerians. Nearly 4 years after the death of rapper Takeoff, his parents are reportedly in a legal dispute over how to share the settlement from a wrongful death lawsuit linked to his killing. Court documents show that Takeoff's mother, Tatiana Davenport, and father, Kenneth Ball, disagree on the distribution of the payout. While Davenport argued that Ball was largely absent from the son's life, he maintains that he is legally entitled to half of the settlement. The dispute is further complicated by questions over jurisdiction, as Takeoff was raised in Georgia but was killed in Texas in 2022. Meanwhile, the criminal case against the man charged with his murder remains ongoing. That's all on entertainment news.
Okay. Well, we're happy to have updated you on the latest happenings in the world of entertainment. Of course, you're still watching Take 3, and it's kind of like an interesting show today, if you ask me, because I have my bodyguards here with me.
Yes, so 100. we are here for you. The lady in red, you look like danger. Right? You look like you're angry, red and black, ready to go. Do anyhow, they see anyhow.
Well, let's move on, guys. Now, today marks 17 years since the passing of the king of pop, Michael Jackson. The music icon, who died on June 25, 2009, remains one of the most influential entertainers in history. From chart-topping hits like Thriller, Billie Jean, and Beat It, to his groundbreaking dance moves and unforgettable performances, Jackson's impact on global music and pop culture continues to resonate across generations. Now, fans around the world have taken to social media to celebrate his legacy, sharing memories, music, and tributes in honor of the late superstar. 17 years on, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jackson's influence remains timeless, proving that legends never truly fade away.